We've been through the ringer over the decades, but all things considered, the pro wrestling video game landscape doesn't look too bad these days. Whether you loved it, hated it, or were indifferent to it, AEW Fight Forever was hotly anticipated for years. Upon release, most gamers found it fun to play, but unfortunately quite shallow in the features department. Regardless of your personal opinion on the game, the fact was, this was fresh blood. A new combatant stepping into the ring, hopefully a sign of things to come. Retromania Wrestling flew off the top rope with its old school arcadey stylings in 2021. And that was a game I actually created the trophy list for. How you doing? In 2018, Spike Chunsoft gave us Fire Pro Wrestling World, one of the all-time greats in my mind, with high-level gameplay and customization options that would make your head spin. See? Things haven't been so bad. If we look off into the distance, there are even more new challengers waiting to make their debuts. Ultra Pro Wrestling is the latest title promising to be the next WWF No Mercy, and with a launch date scheduled for this year, we'll soon find out what this one brings to the table. Virtual Basements, the wrestling code, has been announcing new roster members for what feels like 5 years at this point, and we've yet to see substantial gameplay, so that's another one that's up in the air. I think we're all in agreement that the tide being this high, with the ring being this full of hungry competitors, it's a good thing for fans of wrestling games. The ability to pick and choose which ones we like grants us the power of choice. One company I haven't been talking about is the #1 promotion in the world, and for good reason. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not coming for the most recent 2K games, which by all accounts have been great. I'm rewinding a little bit further. I'm looking back at the WWE 2K20 era, a game so bad and so broken its sequel was canceled so that the team would have the time to figure out what the hell it was they were supposed to be doing. But there was another WWE video game produced in 2K21's absence. A game that promised to deliver the arcadey action fans had been clamoring for years. This was WWE 2K Battlegrounds. Normally, I would launch into my opening question here, the hook, as it were. You know, something like, would WWE 2K Battlegrounds, with its silly art style and its promise of arcadey action, be enough to wash away the grime of WWE 2K20, or would it get sucked into that same black hole of quality? You know, something like that. I'm not going to do that here today because I have a very real warning for you up front. Do not buy WWE 2K Battlegrounds. This is not a part of my critique. I'm not even putting down the game. I am warning you of a very real scam being run by 2K/Take-Two Interactive, and companies like Sony are letting it happen. I'm serious, and I will give you full details later in the video, but yeah, up front, there's a scam going on here. Do not buy this game. There's your hook. How do you like that? Welcome to Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling game retrospective series. Every video here on 616 Entertainment is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed the show here today, consider signing up. You'll get early access, exclusive videos and podcasts, and more. Pro Wrestling Tees has the merch. As always, thank you for watching. Now, before we get into the scam, which is 100% not clickbait, by the way, I don't do business like that, and before we get into the gameplay, I want to talk about where WWE 2K Battlegrounds came from. That makes sense, right? To start at the beginning. As previously stated, WWE 2K20 was an abysmal disappointment. If you're not aware as to why that is or what happened, I'll try to make it quick. Yuke's, the team who developed some of the greatest wrestling video games of all time, they worked with WWE for decades. Their last WWE game was 2K19. 2K19 was received very well. It was considered one of the strongest WWE offerings in some time, but the relationship between WWE and Yuke's had come to an end. Stepping in to replace Yuke's would be Visual Concepts, a studio founded in 1988, purchased by Sega in 1997, and then eventually purchased again in 2005, this time by Take-Two Interactive. Visual Concepts have a deep and familiar history. Seriously, you've played their games. NBA 2K, MLB 2K, NHL 2K, College Hoops 2K, goddamn Clay Fighter? Come on. I had to throw Clay Fighter in there. And Visual Concepts, while we're at it, this is the team solely responsible for the most recent WWE 2K games, the ones that are reviewing very well. So, I'm not saying that they're untalented or garbage or anything of the sort. The fact of the matter is that clearly Visual Concepts were thrown into the deep end when Yuke's left, and seemingly without a suitable amount of time to create something worth releasing. They had been assisting Yuke's in the development of the 2K games dating all the way back to WWE 2K14, but assisting another team and taking the wheel yourselves are clearly very, very different. The stars didn't align, there wasn't enough time, poor decisions were made from a high level and on the production front. Look, all in all, 2K20 was a mess. It was a piece of shit. Those reviews on launch day were earned, and that's how it goes. From my point of view, and I think this is just objectively true across the board, when the word came out that there would be no WWE 2K21, that Visual Concepts were going to take that development time and work really hard to ensure what would be WWE 2K22 would be up to our standards. That's what you want to hear in situations like this. For them to take a step back and say, look, we f***ed up. We know we f***ed up. We're not going to release another game real fast and shake you upside down for another $60 to $70. We need time to get this right. Like, we need another whole year to get this right. That's what we need. Take your time. Put out something that is worth a damn. You know, if you go on Twitter right now, there are so many people complaining about the fact that Grand Theft Auto 6 is still not out. Rockstar are a team that take their work very seriously. Be patient, because when GTA 6 does arrive, that wait will have been worth it. Let them take their time, man. Let them take their time. Wrestling fans weren't looking at a wait quite this long, though, as for the first time in forever, a second WWE video game was in production to stand alongside the core series. WWE 2K Battlegrounds promised arcadey gameplay. It promised that we'd be able to brawl without limits. The art style, to me, was instantly a problem. I wasn't really into the look. And this was coming to us from Saber Interactive. Come on, remember Time Shift? No? Yeah, this was a weird game. I should do a video on some of these one-off PS3 games at some point. Look, I know, it's not like I'm talking about Naughty Dog or Valve or anything. I'm just trying to be nice. I wrote 2K Battlegrounds off immediately. We had all been looking forward to a new, faster, action-packed, arcadey wrestling game. But just upon first glance, and I'll speak for myself here, my thoughts were, that's not what I meant. I've hit you with a ton of setup. Let's dive into the gameplay now. This is WWE 2K Battlegrounds. The moves are ridiculous. You're flying 25, 30 feet in the air like this is a superhero movie. The proportions of the wrestlers' bodies are really strange. WWE All-Stars pumped everybody up to incredible Hulk-like proportions, whereas 2K Battlegrounds has more of an, I don't know, super jacked little person style, right? Don't you think these wrestlers look like muscular dwarves from a high fantasy game or something? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm just saying, this isn't what I wanted. One thing I've always been confused about is who this game is actually for. I mean, at a glance, does it look like it's being made for the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain fan? Or does it look like it's being made for children? The gameplay itself, despite being marketed as simpler than the main WWE 2K series and easier to pick up and play, really isn't very simple at all. Square and triangle, punch and kick, that's easy enough. But immediately we're jumping into holding L1 or L2 to modify strikes, but only if a specific meter is filled with a specific amount and you're playing as a character with a specific fighting style. Simple grapple moves can be hit with the X button, but holding L1 or L2 will amplify the move, depending on your meters, your power-ups, and your fighting style. The tutorial says finishing moves are hit with L2 and square, but in my experience, that doesn't work at all. It's actually L2 and R2 together. Sometimes you hit a signature, like Randy Orton's T-Bone here, and sometimes it's a finisher, like Randy Orton's RKO here. Why did the move change? I have no idea. I pressed the same exact buttons. Across this video, you will undoubtedly see the same dozen or so maneuvers hit over and over again. That's not because I don't know how to play. It's not because I keep pressing the same combinations. It's because 2K Battlegrounds feels like it has about 12 moves in it. I'm serious. I think everyone on the roster can do this pop-up diamond cutter. No fewer than 10 wrestlers have this jackhammer as a basic setup move, and I'm already showing the rising flying punches again. This is like every other character can do this move. So bear with me on that front. What's funny is that even with so few moves in the game, Jerry Lawler and Mauro Ranallo don't call a single one of them. I swear on my life, you will hear Jerry Lawler say something is gonna be good or something isn't gonna be good 15 to 20 times per match.
This should be good. Oh my goodness, it is good. Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, does that make you dizzy? This should be good. Look out. Oh, did you see that? This should be good. Look out. Whoa, I can't believe it. What's he got in mind here? Oh, this should be good. Oh, it is great. This should be good. Oh, yes, it's definitely good. Oh, I've never seen anything like that. Oh, what's gonna happen here? Oh, it's not gonna be good. Oh, man.
I can't believe how awful this commentary is. And it's not Jerry's fault. It's not Mauro's fault. Their delivery is actually amazing. They sound excited and dialed into what's happening. It's just whoever wrote their lines gave them absolutely nothing to work with. At this point, I have a question for you, and I need you to make a selection. Would you rather talk about this game's campaign, or would you rather talk about one of the biggest problems surrounding 2K Battlegrounds? Go ahead. Think about it. Make your selection. Yeah, I had a feeling you'd pick that one. Let's talk about microtransactions, everybody's favorite feature in the modern video game. WWE 2K Battlegrounds might literally be the worst example of microtransaction greed I have ever seen in my life. Imagine releasing a WWE video game in 2020 and Becky Lynch is locked. Day one, minute one, you're gonna have to pay real money to play as Becky Lynch. And it's not just the man. Stone Cold, Ric Flair, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Kevin Nash, Kane, Jeff Hardy, Aleister Black, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Paige, Mickie James, Trish Stratus, Razor Ramon, Big E, Xavier Woods. I can keep going. Nearly 100 wrestlers are locked behind a paywall. These wrestlers can be unlocked through playing the game and earning enough in-game currency, but I can tell you that after 14 plus hours with 2K Battlegrounds, having played through the entire story mode and completing over 100 matches, I had enough in-game currency to buy 5 new wrestlers. 5. Each character has between 2 and 4 costumes, and every alternate outfit must be purchased through a microtransaction. Whether it's in-game currency or real money, the fact remains that's a microtransaction. Upon firing up the game for the first time, there is one arena to play in. Completing the story mode will unlock the other 6 or so arenas, but the only 2 real-life settings are Raw and WrestleMania. There's a SmackDown theme in Create a Battleground, but you're gonna have to pay for it. There's a SummerSlam theme in there as well, and you're gonna have to pay for it. Now keep in mind, these aren't even arenas. These are ring aprons and logos, and they ain't free. This all gets so much worse when we step into scam territory. Alright, I guess we've reached the point of this video where I am going to go in depth on the very real scam being run through WWE 2K Battlegrounds. Now let me set the scene like this. A while back, I purchased the digital deluxe version of this game. That digital deluxe version should immediately grant me access to all 3 versions of Stone Cold, The Rock, Ronda Rousey, and Edge, and I'm also supposed to have WWE Golden Bucks to purchase other wrestlers. None of those things are present in this download. None of them. All of those wrestlers I just mentioned are still locked, and I was awarded 0, count 'em 0 WWE Golden Bucks. To add to this situation, I also bought the Ultimate Brawlers pack, which was an add-on to unlock all 75 of the locked wrestlers. Now, it's only their base costume, but either way, I wanted to have all of the wrestlers for this video for visual variety, for your sake. Are you ready for this? The Ultimate Brawlers pack doesn't f***ing work at all. Every single one of those 75 wrestlers that I paid to unlock are still locked. Yes, I've deleted the game and re-downloaded it. Yes, I have gone into the system settings and restored the license. Yes, I have gone through the PlayStation app, made sure I selected the digital deluxe version and downloaded that to my console. Yes, I have gone to the PlayStation Store itself. I've highlighted the Ultimate Brawlers pack and it says you already own this item. It does not let me download it again. Not only have I done all of these things, I have done all of these things with PlayStation customer support in a live chat. They went through all of these steps with me one by one. That got me absolutely nowhere. I was told that I'm most likely not going to get a refund because the game has been downloaded and the DLC has been consumed, which it has not because it doesn't exist. If the DLC was consumed, these wrestlers would be unlocked and we would not have a problem. I also reached out to 2K customer support who told me that they can do nothing about the add-on content for the game and they are interested to hear what PlayStation is going to say about this. These items that you can purchase right now do not work. You can go on the PlayStation Network, grab the Digital Deluxe, grab the Ultimate Brawlers pack. They do not function. They will take your money. It won't work. And when you say, hey, this doesn't work, they're going to say, sorry, pal, nothing we can do for you. This is a f***ing scam. As it stands right now, 2K told me that they can't help me because they can't apparently control the content of their own f***ing game. And my case with PlayStation has been escalated to the higher-ups, though their initial support chat guy told me that I'm probably just And let me make one thing clear, it's not about the money, Dan Dans. For both of these things combined, I spent maybe 16 bucks because they were on sale. It's not about the money. It's about the fact that I am f***ing sick of shit like this. These big corporations that will take your money, and when the thing doesn't f***ing work, you're like, hey, I kind of got screwed. Can you make this right? They're like, no. And they have the gall at that point to say, if there's anything else that we can help you with, let us know. I have one problem and you didn't help me with that. You want to help me with something else? You want to help me with a problem that doesn't exist? I'm sorry I'm so flustered about this, but it's f***ing annoying. And while we're at it, YouTube is f***ing on me too. The history of Friday the 13th Part 5 was knocked down to a yellow $sign. I go into the reasons why, and it says because there's an F-bomb in the opening 7 seconds. Guys, no there isn't. Go watch that video right now. That does not occur. Across 2021, I released The History of Halloween, a 6-part, nearly 6-hour retrospective series. And when I'm going back and forth through YouTube chat support and then with an actual person through email, I cannot even get them to acknowledge the fact that it doesn't happen. At this point, it doesn't even matter if it's too late for you to do anything about it. At least admit to me that you know what you're charging me with is bullshit. They won't. They keep hitting me with, if there's anything else we can help you with. You f***ed me. And you know what? I'm not alone with this 2K scam. I Googled around when I first ran into the issue. There are Reddit threads about this. There are YouTube videos and YouTube comments about this, and they all lead to the same area. Hey, is there a fix for this? No. I brought this up to 2K and PlayStation. They don't give a f***. That tells me that I'm not the first person to tell either of these companies, hey, other people are having this problem too. And the biggest issue, like I said, it's not about my money. The biggest issue is that these items are still for sale on these storefronts right now. You can run into this issue tomorrow, and you will also be f***ed. So to wrap this segment, f*** 2K, f*** PlayStation, f*** YouTube, and I guess f*** me, because I'm standing here in my own video talking about all 3 of them. Scam promo over. Back to the game itself. There's a pretty big story mode here where I was under the impression that I needed to create a character to play it, and I was wrong. I guess I have to be Bolo Reynolds. I don't know, man. I think my guy Rimbo Jangan is cooler. More on him later. What's the story here? Well, Paul Heyman pitches Vince McMahon on a new brand. A brand built upon newcomers. Stone Cold joins up with the old ECW owner, and we're off to the races. That's where Bolo Reynolds comes in. He's the new guy, and he fights his way to Monday Night Raw inside of like 4 matches. After that, we jump to a new guy, Billy Huggins. This hillbilly prick is from the Bayou, so that's where we wrestle. I figured Billy would graduate to SmackDown, but he doesn't. He just goes over Brock Lesnar clean and then is off to WrestleMania, I guess. And yeah, if you haven't put the pieces together by now, there are no cutscenes in this campaign mode. What we are treated to are very basic and rudimentary comic book panels. The whole time. From the Bayou, it's on to Mexico with TJ Salazar. His first match is against Bryan Danielson, who is fighting diarrhea. Not kidding. Is this our final character in story mode? Nope, now it's on to the women. First up is the tag team of Cassie and Polly Vell, who look like Gem and the Holograms rejects. Then it's over to Scotland with Jessica Johnson, the worst character in the whole mode. Oh my god, I just hate the powerhouse fighting style. Their moveset is even more limited than the others, and they're just so slow. Straight up, I hated every second of having to play with Jessica Johnson. The final character is Gabriel Pierce, a hacker guy, and I didn't record any of his matches. But they take place in the Detroit arena, which looks like this. Check it out. Nash hitting a powerbomb on the Giant, but a lot nicer than the one he hit at Sold Out 98. How about it? I mentioned another mode where I can play as my guy, Rimbo Jangan, and here it is. Battleground Challenge. This is laid out just like the campaign mode, for the most part. We start out with our jabroni, like a 60 overall rating, and with each match, we earn points to spend in the skill tree. Look at this f***ing skill tree, man. It's huge. After finishing my first match where I went over Akira Tozawa, I took a look at what was in store. Holy sh**. Look how huge this is. How good do you think Rimbo Jangan is supposed to be? Anyway, I fired up my next match and I'm facing Tozawa? Again? Look how many matches I have to play. The first 2 are gonna be against the same guy? I don't think so. That's enough Battleground Challenge for me. Rimbo Jangan retires at 1-0. Undefeated. Undertaker's not undefeated. Fuck you, Undertaker. Who are you? You think you're better than Rimbo Jangan? I do have a few compliments to pay 2K Battlegrounds, and yes, I am aware that this episode is skewing pretty harshly into the negative. You might be surprised to hear at this point that I don't hate this game. I actually don't hate this game at all. There were moments where I was having a lot of fun. And I think one of my biggest complaints with 2K Battlegrounds is that it's pretty close to being good. It's not quite there, but it's not that far off. Let me just say that I think the 2K Battlegrounds version of a cage match is really fun. Money appears strapped to the steel and you've got to climb up and pull down the cash, all while minding the fact that this structure is electrified. Thousands of volts are pumped through the fence when the alarm sounds, and you don't want to get caught in that sort of thunderstorm. After you've collected enough money, you are free to leave over the top. Do I wish there was also a pinfall and submission option for cage matches? Sure, but this is creative, and I'm for it. Stone Cold using the phrase soup sandwich in campaign mode popped me huge. Shout out to Spider-Man on PS2, the only other place I've heard this phrase uttered in my life.
You're crazier than a soup sandwich.
Sometimes the ring will just explode.
On the top turnbuckle! Oh, comes crashing down! That's gotta hurt!
Too many high impact moves and this thing just gives out. And it's not a canned animation. All of the broken pieces of the turnbuckle and the ring posts, they've all got their own physics. The posts can even be used as a weapon if you're strong enough to lift them. The match doesn't end either. This keeps going until someone is pinned or submits. I gotta tell you, man, it was moments like these that put a smile on my face. I was genuinely having a ton of fun with 2K Battlegrounds when shit like this would happen. Is it fun to throw opponents to the crocodiles? Yes, it is. Throwing them under the cars in Detroit is great, along with the exploding barrel. Letting the helicopter take you up and flying down from the sky on the boot camp stage is awesome.
High altitude! High risk! Don't tell me! Off the helicopter! What a hit!
The remote-controlled goat in Mexico is silly, and the bagpipe spot in Scotland is really stupid, and is probably the one piece of arena interaction that totally misses the mark. And with that, let's bounce into some things that suck. What is with the countouts in this game? They're totally broken. I thought maybe this was a glitch, as I am totally in the safe zone by 10, even if I'm cutting it close. But it happened again in much more egregious fashion here. I don't know, man, but that shit is fucked up. Why does Shane McMahon have a 92 overall rating? Are you f***ing kidding me? That ties Shane with the Ultimate Warrior and Ric Flair. Shane McMahon is 2 points higher than Shawn Michaels. 2 points higher than Randy Orton. He's better than Randy Savage. What is happening here? This is not the British Bulldog. So that's weird. I'm not going to talk about Tournaments mode because you had to pay to enter Tournaments mode, for one. And to go one further, they don't even exist anymore. How about it? I love how this basically translates to, you can play this mode to earn points, or you can just give us real money and then you don't have to do this at all. It's up to you. You know what's really odd though? This game does not have a platinum trophy. This is so rare, Dan. You can probably count on one hand how many big releases don't include a full trophy list, let alone one from a major brand with a massive IP attached. Who f***ed this up? How does this get through? Look, I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. WWE 2K Battlegrounds is really close to being a good game. I love the color palette. I think the imagination that went into the settings is really fun. The action figure imagery is the right kind of, ooh, I want that design, though making us pay for all of it is the exact opposite. The movesets are ridiculously limited, the body styles are rough, corners were cut, and it shows. Much like All-Stars, the last WWE game that promised arcadey, over-the-top action, Battlegrounds has a few things going for it, but not nearly enough. And there's plenty going against it. To be clear, WWE All-Stars is awesome, 2K Battlegrounds is not. It's almost pretty good. Almost. A pretty good game was within reach before they f***ed it up with all the microtransaction greed. Forget about the scam. That's a corporate thing. It's not the game's fault. I want to like this game. And I actually had way more fun with it than I was expecting, but I can't quite give it the stamp of 616 Entertainment approval. Critically, 2K Battlegrounds pulled middling reviews, and I think these are pretty fair, if a bit generous. Releasing on September 18th, 2020, WWE 2K Battlegrounds filled the hole where WWE 2K21 was supposed to be. And that's about all it did. Never once did I hear a single rumbling about a sequel. Never once would this IP be mentioned again. WWE 2K Battlegrounds was another promise of the action, the type of game we'd been asking for years, that missed the mark by a much wider margin than the previous promise. The wrestling game landscape was looking pretty dire at this point, and luckily that would turn around. Visual Concepts found their footing with the mainline 2K series. Yuke's entered the ring with AEW. We've got a whole slew of new challengers on the horizon. So in spite of how bad things were, here today, in the present, it's not a bad time to be a wrestling gamer, Dan. It's really not a bad time at all. Oh, there it is. That's my Triangle X Squared Circle retrospective of WWE 2K Battlegrounds. I had some things to get off my chest, for sure, but all in all, I'd like to think I didn't skew too negative. Let me know what you think about this one down in the comments. This was episode 33 of Triangle X Squared Circle, and if you take all 4 seasons and smash them together, that's about 9 hours of wrestling game retrospective content. I've got something really big in the works that I can't go into detail on just yet, but if you like this show, you're going to be very excited when the time comes. And season 4 of Triangle X Squared Circle is still going. I'm not closing the season here, just to be clear. Next week, I'll hit you with my top 25 favorite video games of all time. Have I done this before? Yes, I have. 3 years ago, most recently, so it's been quite a while. I've put a lot of thought into it, and that last list just doesn't truly represent my favorites. I put rules on myself, I put limitations on myself, and it's really for no reason. It's just a detriment to the message that I'm trying to send. The message that these are my favorite games. There's no need for guidelines. So the concept, the video, they're in need of a refresh, and next week, you're gonna get it. Patreon, YouTube channel memberships, blah, blah, blah. I could really use your support over there, but I'm not trying to cut a big, long promo on you. Sign up, please. There. How's that? Until next time, Dan Dans, I love ya, and I will see you next week.